Hello and welcome to Lard TV, and we're back here in the studio on Lard Island, and with me once again is Mark Backhouse, who we've invited back to join us. Mark, obviously the author of Strength and Honour, Ancient Rules, and we thought we'd like to get him back in the studio for a different battle and to try out a totally different scale.
Yeah, that's right. So Strength and Honour is suited to playing in any small scale, and we've had some requests to see what it might look like inside 6mm. So today I've dusted off the 6mm armies and we're going to play with those.
So 6mm, a bit bigger than your usual 2mm, but there we go, 6mm it is. And this was a game we actually had on display at Joy of Six up in Sheffield, wasn't it? Where it was very well received.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've seen people playing Strength and Honour in all kinds of different scales. Of course, it's designed ideally for small scale gaming with 2mm, 6mm in mind, 10mm maybe, but there's no reason why you can't play it inside 15mm or even 28mm. In fact, there's a chap inside Australia who's been playing that and posting up his pictures of his 28mm games online. Huge, great big epic battles.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, both have got their strengths and weaknesses, haven't they, of course, and there's no reason why you can't go as large as you like using an existing collection, probably without even rebasing, which of course is the bane is all of our lives, as long as both sides have got roughly the same size units and they can match up on the grid system. It's the easiest thing in the world to convert. So there we go, it's all going to work. Let's have a look at the action we're going to play then, Mark.
Well, today we're going to be refighting the Battle of Nicopolis, which is in 48 BC.
Right, lovely. So Nicopolis, very nice. So tell me a little bit more about Nicopolis.
So it's 48 BC, it's the time of the civil war between Caesar and Pompey supporters, which is still going on. At this point in time, Caesar is over in Egypt sorting out things with Cleopatra. Pompey himself has actually lost at the Battle of Pharnaces and he's been executed by the Egyptians. But there's still this power vacuum, the civil war taking place with some of the Pompeian factions still fighting. So there's still lots going on inside the civil war at this point in time. It's by no means over. Now, taking advantage of that power vacuum is King Pharnaces II. He's the king of Bosphorus, the old Pontic Empire, and he's keen there to take back parts of the Pontic Empire in Cappadocia and Armenia Minor, while Rome was distracted with what was going on in the civil war. So Asia, which is modern day Turkey, has been left in the hands of a Roman governor called Calvinus, and unfortunately he's had to send some of his troops, 2 of his best legions, over to Egypt to help out with Julius Caesar in Alexandria.
Is that Domitius Calvinus, mate?
It is me.
Right, great. Oh, Domitius, right, nice guy.
Domitius,
yeah. Right, Domitius.
Yeah.
So bloody Romans.
So we've got a rather strange situation in which the other client kings are coming along begging Calvinus, please come and help us, because Mithridates, his son Pharnaces II, is taking over bits of Asia. And therefore the Romans are sent over with the help of his client kings to go and basically sort out Pharnaces, who's retreated back into his heartland of Bosphorus over here, and he's hiding behind the walls of Nicopolis.
Right, so really the Romans are the good guys in this.
Well,
I like to think so.
It's all a bit ambiguous, I think.
Yeah. But I'm going to be playing him, and I'm going to be playing him in a kind and gentle manner.
Oh, what a patrician you are.
Absolutely. So there we are. We can see that on our big, fabulous map of Asia. So this is going to be a battle between Mithridates' successor army versus a Roman force with client kingdoms providing most of the troops. So when you think big tough Romans like Caesar's legions in Gaul, they're not them.
No, not really. The core of this Roman force is made up of the veteran 36th Legion. Now these really are crack troops. These are soldiers who'd probably fought on Pompey's side during the earlier part of the Civil War. They'd swapped over sides down and were supporting Caesar effectively. But they are loyal veteran troops. These are really crack troops. But most of the battle lines can be made up of soldiers who are imitation legionaries. Now, what does imitation legionary mean? Well, we're not exactly sure, but we think it means something like soldiers who aren't Roman. They're dressed in a similar style to Roman legionaries, probably with bits of oval scutum shields,
Yeah.
probably with helmets and some form of armour. They're probably formed up into some sort of cohorts, and they're trying to copy the style of the Roman legions, but unfortunately they're not quite as effective.
Yeah.
So Ariobarzanes was one of the client kings who sent soldiers to go and help out inside this expedition, and he's raised up 2 legions of imitation legionaries. And on top of that, then we've also got a Pontic legion, who are ironically fighting for the Romans rather than the Pontic force.
Wow.
And they perform slightly better historically inside the battle. So we're actually going to class them not as imitation legions. We're going to give you a fighting chance. We're going to call those raw legionaries in terms of their statistics.
Wow, thanks,
Okay.
mate. Right, it's a real mishmash, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We've also added into the scenario a little bit of extra help here. We've changed it slightly from the scenario, which you'll see inside the Strength and Honour rulebook. So if you want to see the details of it, it's inside there. We've added to the Roman force a force of cavalry as well. So 1 unit of cavalry, just to give them a bit more mobility. And historically in the battle, they did have some cavalry, but they were fairly limited in numbers. On the other side then, on Mithridates' side, we've got a rather strange mixture of all kinds of wild and eccentric sort of dressed troops. So we've got more imitation legionaries, copying the same style as the Romans again after their success inside the Second Mithridatic War. We've got a squadron of royal cavalry who are the best inside the Mithridatic army. They're pretty good. And we've also got scythe chariots and some skirmishers as well as a few sneaky tricks up the Mithridatic army's sleeves. Now, we don't know exactly what was inside the battle itself in terms of the order of battle for the Mithridatic side. They certainly did have those squadrons of cavalry and certainly quite a lot of infantry, probably outnumbering the Romans. But we've sort of used a few assumptions here. We've added in the scythe chariots based on the fact that in the following year at the Battle of Zela they did have scythe chariots there. Possibly the imitation legions might be replaced with pike blocks coming back in again for one of the last final grand cheers for pikemen.
Yeah.
But I think they're soon to be abandoned. But possibly inside the Third Mithridatic War they use as well. But for today we're going to be using the imitation legions.
Okay, great. Well, that's the joys of ancient history. So much of it is, imperfect knowledge determines how much we know and what we don't know, which in a way is great fun because it allows us to try different what-ifs. And certainly the force that you've got here is very colourful and very varied, which is quite funky by comparison with what looks like solid bread and butter legionaries, but actually is very variable in terms of quality.
Absolutely.
So we are really on the edge of empire here, aren't we? Fighting in a very different battle to the classic Roman steamroller. So it should be fun. I'll have to up my game to do my best for the boys in red.
Okay, so before we start our battle and our deployment, the first thing we've got to do is we've got to work out our command boards and test for our auguries. So before the battle starts, we're going to be sacrificing a few sheep to try and get the blessings of the gods to be on our side. Now this is determined by a simple 2 dice roll. Let's see what we've got here. We've rolled a 7, so a 7's a pretty average roll there. That's going to give me now 3 extra command points to add to my initial 2 command points. So I'm going to have 5 command points. We can imagine then the sacrifice has been carried out quite successfully. The priests have promised good tidings for the battle and our troops are fairly confident. So we've got our command boards which we now need to allocate our command points onto. Well, to begin with, we've got a general, and our general is going to give us 1 generalship point for Pharnaces. He's an average general, not spectacular, but certainly no disaster. Then we've got 5 command points which we're going to allocate then to attack, movement, strategy and defence. And I've got to try and work out how I'm going to play this. Now I've got a fairly mobile army, more mobile than the Romans, so I'm hoping that we can outmaneuver them. So I'm going to be placing 1 of my points then down onto movement. I always like to be a little bit slippery, and therefore I'm going to put down 1 extra point there onto strategy. I'm hoping that maybe I can do something clever with my deployment at the start of the game. Now I'm going to play this very, very defensively, I think. So I'm going to place down 2 of my points then down onto defence at least. I always like to have a few points on my defence pool. Now I've got 1 point left here, and I'm wondering whether to put it into attack, strategy, movement or defence. And I think it would be foolish if I didn't go with a point of attack. So I'm going to go for a fairly safe balanced all round, but with a little bit more defence there. I've got 14 points for my army break point, and therefore my army is going to be fairly brittle compared with most of the big battles. It's a fairly small battle, and I'm going to have to be very, very careful my troops just simply don't break.
Well, I'm ready to take the field as Calvinus, and of course what I need to do first of all is to roll my dice to see how the gods are looking down upon me. And not very well apparently, because I even missed the dice tray. So 5, so I was right. I knew the omens were bad when I missed the dice tray. Well, that's only going to give me another 2 points. The priests of Mars proclaim that the garlands of flowers which are falling off the standards in the wind, whatever the priests are saying, the veterans don't like it. It's not good. The things are not auguring well. But I think it was me missing the dice tray, to be honest with you. That really did for me from the outset. So how many points do I start off with initially? I'd start off with 2, so I can only add another 2 to that.
So you've only got 4 points then, Richard. Not very many.
No, so here we go. Now the first thing to know is that I've got an army break point of 15 with only 4. Oh, blimus. It's tough. Generalship point, first of all, I'm going to put 1 generalship point on there because I'm no Caesar. I'm not even a Brutus. But well, I'm definitely got to go with attack. I've got to be aggressive. I'm going to go 2 in attack. I'm going to go 1 in movement. And I'm going to go 1 in defence. Frankly, I'd have liked more in attack. I'd have liked a bit more in movement. But that's going to be my choice. That's what I'm going to do, because I feel, being Romans, I always feel that I need to get in there and kick him right where it hurts. And that's hopefully what my 2 points, command points on that generalship pool in attack, the attack pool, will do for me.
Okay, yeah, Richard, could I have white, no sugar? Thank you, mate.
No worries, won't be a minute.
Now that Richard's gone, we've got a special surprise up our sleeve, because Pharnaces carried out some preparations before the battle in front of the town of Nicopolis, which is, he was copying the Romans' tactics that had been used against the Mithridatic forces until the first Mithridatic war, and he decided to dig some trenches which are going to be concealed inside the Pontic deployment area. So what we're going to do now is we're going to place those down secretly, and I'm then going to take those off the table, so you'll get to see where they are, but Richard won't know where they are. So each of these is meant to cover 2 squares, so I'm going to place one over here covering these 2 squares here, and I'm going to cover another around the left flank over here covering this flank over here. I reckon the Romans are going to put their best stuff on the right flank, and therefore this is going to really, really break down their infantry attack on this side. So I'm going to hopefully use most of my cavalry on this right wing here, and use these traitors here to give them a nasty surprise and guard my left flank. Let's see if he discovers them. Okay, so let's start ourselves then with the deployment phase. We've got our deployment zones marked out. We've got our flanking zones down either side there, which we can't deploy inside. I'm going to take it in turns and to allocate down units inside our deployment areas. And our units have got to connect to the previous unit that was placed down. So we're going to form a sort of a battle line here. So I'm going to start off putting down some of my best stuff first, which is maybe unusual for me possibly, but I'm going to put down the Pontic Royal Cavalry on my left flank over here. This is my best cavalry over here, and they're going as far forward as they can go into the deployment zone. So over to you then, Richard.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put down my cavalry, and I'm actually going to mirror what you've done there. I'm putting mine as far forward as possible, and they're going to look to take you on.
Okay. Well, I'm going to guard the flank of those cavalry troops here with some skirmishers, some light infantry, very much open order, javelins, spears, slings, bows, that kind of thing there, but pretty lightweight troops. I'm a bit worried about them being open there, but hopefully my cavalry can shield them.
Okay, well, I'm going to put down an imitation legion there.
Okay, so one of your imitators. They're not very good quality troops.
No, I know.
But unfortunately, they're lined up against my skirmishers, so they've probably got quite a good place there. So I'm going to have to reinforce them, my skirmishers over here. Now I could deploy in front of my deployment area, but I think that's going to lead to a broken up line. So I'm going to go over here then with one of my imitation legions next.
Okay. I'm going to follow up with my Pontus.
They're slightly better, slightly tougher there. Okay. I'm then going to go with some skirmishers. So I'm going to place my skirmishers.
So my guess is you're going to have another unit to the back of that next to the other one.
Who knows?
And reinforce that. I don't know, mate, but I'm a shrewd idea. Well, I'm putting my real tough guys in here, the A team.
I'm worried about them actually.
Yeah, so you should be, because they're coming to get you, mate.
I don't like them. I don't want to face them. But will my legions be able to hold out? Well, we're going to give it our best shot. So we're going to put down some imitation legions then to try and match them over here.
And I'm putting down one of my shoddy legions there.
That's a bit of a gamble on the flank.
It is, but with a force like this, you've got to take gambles, mate.
Well, next coming down then, we're going to put in the Scythe chariots.
Right.
And you're out of deployment things then, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I'm then going to keep putting down units. I've got a nice numerical superiority here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to enjoy having some light cavalry there on the flank, which I quite like. That does leave a bit of a gap here. Do I want that? Yeah, I probably do actually. That should be fine. Right then, now the next thing then is we need to think about how our skirmishers are going to deploy. Now, do you have any skirmishers, Richard?
No, mate.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down this amount of skirmishers. Fairly predictable, wasn't it? Fairly predictable.
I thought as much. But it's the right thing to do.
And we're going to reinforce the centre of our line here. I realise that I'm maybe not going to be great against the elite troops there, but against your regular imitation legions, reinforced with skirmishers, I should slightly get the upper hand, assuming I can hold the flanks here.
Yeah.
Which is going to be the big key question here. Now the last thing then of course is generals. Now you've got a general and I've got a general. So where are you going to put Calvinus?
I'm going straight in with the heavy hitters.
You would do, wouldn't you?
It's got to be, isn't it?
Now the question is, where should I put Pharnaces? Well, of course the place of
put him in the brothel back there in the town. I reckon that's probably where he is. That's
hanging out with the sheep over here, possibly. Yes. No, he's going to go with the elite cavalry over here.
Right.
Pride of place. I'm tempted to put them in the centre of my line. Maybe that gives them more stability, but honestly, it's an honourable place to be when you can charge gloriously to your deaths. No, he's going to stay over here.
Yeah.
So that's our deployment then done. None of our strategy points used though.
No, well, I'd have loved a strategy point because if I'm honest, I'd have liked to have those cavalry further out on the wing. Or more to the point, I'd have actually liked to have the rest of my force a bit more off to my left.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't afford the strategy point.
Your strategy point, if they couldn't have moved them onto the wing, because the flanking zones are always
I mean, moving these guys across, so that would have left a gap. But as it is, they're they are where they were. But yeah, you're right. Obviously, they've deployed to the extreme there, but I would have preferred these guys to go that way.
You have got this flank a little bit on the wing here, haven't you?
I'm hanging. The flank is hanging out, flapping away in the breeze.
Right then, let's take off our markers then for our deployment zones.
Yes.
And I think we're good to go. Okay, Richard's gone away again for a little breakaway to the coffee making facilities, and this allows me a chance to look at my plan for the battle for today. I'm going to be trying to use those concealed trenches over here on my left flank, and I'm going to try and pivot from that point there, and I'm going to try and use my more mobile light cavalry and scythe chariots to hit this weaker legion on the end of the line. I'm hopefully just going to completely crush them and then roll up the rest of the line. On the other side, we've got our concealed trenches there, who are basically just going to be held by the skirmishers for as long as possible. And I reckon against the imitation legions we stand a reasonable chance of doing so. I'm hoping that my cavalry there can carry out a counter charge at the key moment and see off his cavalry. But in the end, what I'm hoping is we'll avoid fighting those veteran legions there on his flank, and we'll just take out his weak legions. And I'm hoping that, to to be honest with you, with a break of only 15, we only really need to rout 1 or 2 of his units here to win this battle. I'm going to be calling it nice and early on them. I'm going to be using my movement points here to try and make sure I can manoeuvre into position, and I'm just praying then that the gods really are on my side.
This is a really interesting force to game with, because when I've run the Romans in the past, I've been dealing with Romans who kind of live up to the reputation the Romans have. These guys worry me a bit because I'm a bit dubious of their fighting qualities. So the way I'm going to play it is I'm going to try and hit really hard in the middle. I'm going to send forward my veteran legion, who are really good, and support them with my Pontic legion, and really just try and use the other imitation legionaries set back a bit, protecting my flanks by stopping people moving onto the flanks of the good troops, and really hitting really hard straight through the middle. I intend to prance about a bit on my horses, but I'm not actually going to commit my cavalry to the fight, because I feel that if things go wrong, I might need to reposition them on the table, very specifically over onto my left flank, because that is very weak, and he's got some very mobile troops over there with the light cavalry and the scythe chariots, which I think probably are a bit of a con job. I don't think they're as good as they're making out to be, but they've got the go faster stripes on them, they've got the bull bars on there, so clearly the boy racers there are trying to cow us with their good looks and flowing blonde hair, but I'm not convinced we're going to be believing that nonsense. So big punch in the middle, basically, hence the aggressive choices on the command board, with just one in there for movement if things really go wrong and I need to get a unit up to provide support. Let's see how that goes. It's don't know, I'm not feeling that confident, but I'm going to be very aggressive in the way I play. So who goes first, mate?
Let's roll a dice and see. Whoever gets higher goes first. Simple as that, really, for this one here. 3 for me, sir.
Right. 5.
You can take the initiative if you want to and go first.
Right, I'll do that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is roll to move.
You're going to activate.
I'm going to activate my
the veteran
legion with a move order, and they rolled a 3.
That's 1 square.
That just takes them forward 1 square.
Yeah.
Right.
So remember, these ones here are marked into every other one there. Yeah. So that's right.
So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll for my Pontic legion.
Yeah.
Let's see what I roll there. 5. So they can go 2.
Do you want to go 2?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
This point of battle. Okay.
Yeah, I'm very happy with them to go 2. Aren't you? Right.
You're confident?
No, I'm aggressive.
Aggressive?
Yeah, so we'll roll for these guys to go forward. They rolled a 6. Well, they're going to go 2.
Well, you could go an extra one if you wanted to.
I could do, but I'm not crazy. And now it's my cavalry. Let's roll to see what they're going to do. They rolled a 4, which takes them up to 6, so they can go 3.
Correct, yeah.
So
do you really want to go that far?
But I'm only going to go 2. I'm only going to go 2.
Okay.
I'm quite happy with that. Obviously, that's it. I've actually activated everybody in my force, and I'm exactly where I want to be.
What about refusing this flank over here? Do you want to activate them?
No.
No, that doesn't surprise me.
They're in a perfect situation.
Perfect. So, Richard's had his first phase, and I've now got to react back to that. What's the plan? Well, at the moment, we're going to try and stay static over here, and we're just going to try and move forward then with our light horse and our scythe chariots for the moment. We're going to just keep the battle line, stay silent, look intimidating. Let's see how we get on. So, first of all, then, the light horse over here, we're going to roll 1 dice and add 3 to it because we're light horse. I've rolled 3, add 3, that's 3 squares of movement. So 1, 2, 3, here we go, trotting towards you. Already moving pretty fast. And the scythe chariots there, 1 dice 6, add 2, so we're going to activate them for movement next. And I've rolled a 4, again that's 3 squares. So do I want to go the full 3? Yeah, I think I do. 1, 2, 3, there we go. The rest of it then I think I'm going to just hold for the moment, Richard. So a bit cagey first start, but we're going to try and push around this right flank where you're refusing your left.
Okay.
So it's turn 2, And your activation.
Veteran legionaries.
The ones I'm worried about. Oh dear.
So,
Calvinus.
but I've got to make the move. So can I re-roll with a movement dice?
You can do. It's early to do it though.
It is. I don't care. I'm doing it. 5.
2 squares.
So they go 2.
Yeah.
Right.
You're literally right the way forward over here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You do want to get forward with them.
I do. And these guys going forward 2.
1 square.
So they just go 1, which is fine. That's all I want. These guys here.
Now you've got a problem here.
No, I don't have a problem.
Do you move towards the side of
I
chariots?
move towards the side chariots. I don't have a
1
problem
square.
at all, mate. There. Right.
I wouldn't do that.
Well, I'm not worried about your side chariots. It's all giving it large. I'm not very afraid of side chariots.
What about your flank on these guys? I could be into you if I get a good roll.
Yeah, but you won't do. Right, you'll go.
Oh gosh, this is tempting already, isn't it? The temptation here is to try and swing into the flank here of this legion, which is exposed to me here. This is craziness from Richard. It's going to be a very early filming if this goes to plan.
You won't say you won't say it's crazy when you're weeping all your way back down the M3.
Well, let's see. Right then, the light horse then. We're going to activate them for movement first of all. 3 add 3 is 3 more squares. So
that's enough to do a manoeuvre if you fancy it.
It is enough to do a manoeuvre if we fancy it. But 3 squares, we're just gonna, if we go forward 1, and we're gonna sit there. Now the next move then is a really interesting one. So, I've got a really tricky dilemma over here. Do I go into the flank of the 36th and attempt to charge there? It's a fairly easy movement roll and not too bad a manoeuvre check. If I go though into the flank of the 36th, if I move the 2 squares needed, my combat strength is going to be 3. But unfortunately, because he's drilled troops, he's just going to form lines and open up gaps between his troops, and my scythe chariots will have to halve their combat value, which will reduce it down to 1, not making them very effective. That said, his combat value is 4, and I'll be in half as well for being hit in the flank. So it's really tempting to go for the 36, but frankly, there may be a little bit too good troops to be attacking in that way there. If I get lucky with them, it could disorder them, it could push them back, but I think I'm going to stick with a plan, and the plan was to go for the weak and vulnerable imitation legions. So I'm going to declare a charge for them now, and I need to get at least 2 squares to get into combat. This should be a fairly easy roll. So a charge now from the chariots into the imitation legions. I've rolled 3, add 2 is 5, that's 2 squares. So we're going to go forward 1, 2 squares. But the problem is, we're going to go through the zone of control of this unit here. We're going to move out of their zone of control, and that means we've got to take a manoeuvre check. I'm going to need 3 up to do that. I've rolled a 4, so we've successfully managed to charge into this unit over here. So we've moved them into combat now, and it's now a time for our combat. We've now got to compare then our combat factors. I've got combat 3, you've got combat 3, and that means it's a simple 1 dice combat roll for me. So if we can get something good here and push you back though, you're automatically disordered with scythe chariots. So it's a 1 dice fight. What have I rolled? I've rolled a 1. Well, that's a classic start.
Right.
And of course that means I'm going to be spending, I think, my first token, in fact my only attack token of the game. I've got to do better than a 1 on this one here, so I'm going to re-roll that. I've spent my attack point and I've rolled a 3, and a 3 is a stand, so there's no need to roll a defence roll. What a damp squib that was. So no effect there then. You can imagine the side chariots probably don't even go in. They wheel away from the main line, they bottled it a little bit, and they're forming in little circles down there. That's a bit of a disaster. I was hoping for just even a 4 up would have pushed you back, and that would have been enough to disorder you, but unfortunately not to be the case.
So the go faster stripes didn't work.
They didn't.
Yeah, I suspected as much.
So that now still leads me though to have the initiative. And over here on this wing over here, I think Pharnaces was a bit confident on that side over there. It's not looking so good. So I'm going to start now to trot forward these cavalry over here. Let's see what we can do. I've rolled a 4. A 4 is going to be 6 points. That's 3 squares of movement. I'm going to do a simple a diagonal advance, which I passed. My 2 up there. So I'm going to go forward 1 square and 1 to the side. And I think I'm then going to just leave it there then for the moment. Just leave them there. So we're just getting ourselves ready to charge on in then if needs be.
So is that the end of your...
And over here in the centre, our infantry cower behind their shields, form the ranks,
Scaredy
and
cat.
just generally heckle abuse at your Romans heading towards
So
us.
my go. Right, I'm
Yeah.
getting excited here. The heavy
Movement.
veteran boys attempting to move. They roll a 2. We go
slow and
forward
steady.
1.
Impending doom.
Yeah, and the other guys next to them are going to support them. They roll 4, which means they could go 2, but they're only going to go 1. And our rubbish legionaries, they want to move as well. They rolled a 6, so they could go 3, but they're only going to go 1.
So you're still going to refuse this flank
And
over
that
here.
flank is refusing. Yeah.
Oh. Well. Back over to me then for my second.
It is.
Oh no, hold on. What about this? You
yeah.
really do want to be fighting.
I
that
want
one
to
over
fight
there.
them, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
you
my 3.
Well, yeah, you're on a combat there of 3. But what do we have? Well, our scythe chariots are going to be a little bit lower because inside our phase we didn't move very far at all.
Yeah.
And that's going to mean that our combat value is going to be just down to 2. So you're going to roll a 2 dice.
2 dice, fine.
Activation against me.
Right, good. So 6 and 4, I'll take the 6.
Oh dear, I'm going to try and cancel it then. On a 6, I failed to cancel it there. So over here then, my scythe chariots are pushed back and they're then routed away over here. They're destroyed because these are very much an expendable commodity over here and they've been spent. And that means I pick up my first setback card of the game.
Right.
So that was a really damp squib of a set of scythe chariots.
Well,
I was really hoping we were going to brush our way through then, but...
I did feel
there we
confident when I saw those go faster stripes, the bull bars, the air horns. I thought these boys are all mouth and no trousers, and I was a bit lucky to get away with it. But, I did. I did.
You were. It would have been wonderful to have knocked those out. So my plan is not going really.
But you've still got another option here, haven't you?
But there's one other thing over here. You've routed me. So the question is, do you want to follow up?
Do I want to follow up? Yeah, I think I do actually. Yeah, see how far I go.
Yeah. See.
6.
You can go forward then 2 squares.
1, 2. Now that creates a problem for you, doesn't it?
Well, not really.
Yeah.
I can turn on your flank there.
You could do.
In my turn, and I should be able to do that fairly happily.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, that's the end of your phase then. So it's on to my phase in turn 3. Well, I've got to try and stick with a plan for one more turn, I think, here.
At this point, I'd like to play a chain of command dice and interrupt, but I can't.
Right then. Well, how many squares away are we over here then? So we're 1, 2, 3 squares away. So that's going to require a pretty good movement roll.
That's why I didn't go any closer, because if I'd gone any closer, I felt I was presenting you with an opportunity that I didn't really want you to have.
I'm very tempted to charge it. So I'm going to be a 4 up with cavalry to get into combat.
Yeah.
But the obvious one to do is over here with the light horse. So we're going to try and charge with the light horse then into the flank of this imitation legion. And we've rolled a 3, which add to 2 to it is 5. That's 2 movement points. So we've got the movement points to do it because we need 2 for the manoeuvre. 2 up for the manoeuvre.
1! Whoa!
This is a game of 1s already. Well, it's a good thing that I've got my 1 point inside the movement column.
Isn't it a bit early in the game to be spending those?
Well, that's what I said to you, mate. In for a penny, in for a pound. Right, let's try and do it again. 2 up, 3. So we're in there now. We've turned onto the flank there of your imitation legion, and now we're going to unleash hell onto you with piles of javelins and archers and Scythian bowmen and that kind of thing. We're just going to start harassing on the flank. Now your legion here aren't particularly good, so you're not going to like this very much. So your combat strength is 3. It's halved and it's rounded down. They're not supported, so you're down to 1. And I've got a combat strength of 2. So I double you, which means that I've got 3 dice now for this combat here. So I'm hoping here this light horse can really mess you around. And I've rolled 4, 3 and 3. It's not particularly good, but I'm going to take the 4 then, which is going to be a pushback on you.
Failed.
Okay, so your unit there is going to be pushed back. You need to roll, Richard.
Oh, sorry, I do. Sorry. 3, so I was
you
right.
go back 1 square, absolutely.
Right.
Okay, and you're going to pick up your first setback card.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep the pressure up on you.
by failing to follow up.
Well,
Brilliant.
actually, no. With cavalry, on a roll of 1, you follow up 1 square.
Oh, right. Okay.
On the pushback and follow up. So it's only infantry you don't follow up. So my light horse still stay in contact. So in fact, I didn't really even need to roll actually. But anyway, there we go. So you're under a bit of pressure there now because I can keep hitting you all the time now.
Yeah.
And there's another problem, Richard. You're going to struggle to wheel back into shape to face me. There, aren't
I'm
you?
not bothered.
You will be if you pick up a step back every turn.
No, I won't, because I'll have finished this game in another couple of turns.
You might well have done.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Right then. So that's gone all right over there. I'd like to have caused you a discipline check, but so far that's going okay. Now the temptation now is, can I hold in the centre? Can I risk pushing this wing over here? What's the worst that happens if I charge? Well, I could trot forward and lead to a counter charge from you.
And you'd likely get a reversal of fortune.
Well, I'm not going to be moving this stuff over here, so really I think I'm just going to go in with a charge over here. So we're going to declare a charge with the Royal Squadron, a ferocious charge. That's a ferocious charge over here of 3 squares, so I can move them forward then over here, led by Pharnaces himself. 1, 2, 3, crunch into combat over here against your Roman cavalry. Now your Roman cavalry aren't supported, Richard, and they've got a combat strength of 4, but I've got a combat strength of 4, but I've got ferocious charge, which means when I charge I get an additional point, so I'm going to take advantage of that. And I've now got a 2 dice combat here against you, and I'm hopeful I can have a bit more luck on this. Oh, the dice gods are fickle today,
2
aren't they?
threes.
Well, there's no point even
No
rolling
point
again.
even rolling.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Chargers obviously lost a bit of steam in the last bit there. They've hit you, but with no particular tangible effect. They probably haven't fully contacted yet, or maybe they just contacted an early squadron who have fallen back. So unfortunately, no effect there at all. This is not quite going to plan with the dice so far today.
Okay.
Right then, with the rest of it then, I'm going to sit back for 1 more turn, I think, here, and maybe you'll get charged in a moment.
So here we are. How do you feel? You were prancing about on your little ponies and whizzing about in your chariots, and my boys held their nerve initially, bounced the chariots off. I was quite pleased about that. I am worried about them on that flank, but it's one of those situations. I'm worried about both flanks. I'm particularly pleased that we've had a bit of a standoff with our cavalry, because my objective is to just hold out for long enough on the flanks to allow me to smack through the centre. So I'm kind of living with what's happening there. I didn't expect those rubbish legionaries, imitation legionaries, to hold you off forever, but I'm just hoping they hold you off for long enough, and I can afford a couple of setback cards, because I'm going to destroy you in the centre.
Well, I think you've been fortunate so far. The cavalry charge on that flank, really with a 2 dice combat, I probably should have pushed you back there at least. And over here, again, I'm hitting with 3 dice fight, and I've just pushed you back. Not even a discipline check to make so far, Richard. So yeah, I think you've been fortunate. The Scythe chariots again had about a 50-50 chance of disordering you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they've completely been terrible. So it hasn't gone to plan. That said, well, I've spent a few points on my command board. I'm relatively happy with the position I'm in.
That's interesting, because so am I. It has gone according to my plan.
I'm just going to wait and see how long they last on that flank there.
Let's find out. Okay, so my go.
Turn 4, yeah.
Right, well, it's got to be here, and I'm going to advance with my Pontic Legion, and they're going to advance.
Okay,
they're going to
so they're not going to fight the combat.
They're not going to fight the combat. They're going to go
They
2,
can go the full 2
which
squares
puts
they
them
want
there, but they're not actually fighting. Because what I want them to do is to neutralise the support from there. For this is the key one now, and I don't have any move points to spend, so I need this.
But you can use, if you're charging, remember you can use your attack dice.
And I've also got my general with them.
So again, you could use that on your attack dice there.
4,
so 4's enough.
we get in.
Look at that.
In we go. Right,
in
we'll
goes
fight
Calvinus.
this.
But this is one I'm worried about.
Yeah, and this is the one I need to win big.
It is.
But
now
you've got loads of skirmishers giving you support.
The skirmishers will hold me in the battle for maybe a few turns, but in the longer run, I'm likely to lose this one.
Yeah.
So you've got a combat strength of 4.
Yeah.
I've only got a combat strength of 3, but with the skirmishers, for this turn, it's a 1 dice fight here.
It is.
So if I can hold them up for a couple of turns...
Can I spend anything on my attack?
Well, you can use your attack pool there to spend a re-roll poor attack dice roll. So let's see what you get.
Let's see what I get. 1. I'm re-rolling that. I'm spending that to re-roll 1. And I'm spending another 1.
You can't just re-roll.
No. That's a disaster. Right, what a bunch of muppets.
I thought I was having the bad luck today.
Yeah, well, it's, yeah.
Right, well, there's one opportunity you've got here, which is I've got to roll my defence dice. And if I roll a 1, actually it cancels that faltering attack there. No. And I rolled a 3, so I'm afraid I haven't managed to defend against it, which means your attack has faltered.
Right.
That's a disaster. How have you managed to do that?
I know. I was quite pleased to get in, but I didn't expect that. Right, however, that isn't a reversal of fortune.
It is, I'm afraid. It is. So it means you've got to now be pushed backwards and take a discipline check. That's pretty awful. Come on. Right, roll see how far backwards you go. Roll see backwards. 1 dice.
3, so it's 1 square.
So you've dropped back over here. So Calvinus' troops going with all their confidence, but they haven't done it. The next thing we need to do then is we need to roll for their discipline. Now luckily your guys here are tough. They've got 5 discipline, so 5 or better on 2 dice.
8.
8, you're fine there. You do have to pick up a setback card.
Yeah, but you need to check for your skirmishers.
Well, I've got to check for my skirmishers. On a roll of 5 or 6, my skirmishers are going to stand, otherwise they're going to disappear at first line there. So they've disappeared. So that's going to weaken me up. So you can imagine a spoiling attack there maybe has sort of been chased off, or maybe hasn't quite gone into contact because of that line of skirmishers. Maybe we were deployed out 50 metres out in front, we took the sting out of the initial charge possibly. And you're just reforming your ranks over here.
But can you reinforce now?
Well, I need to see if I'm following up after you.
Of course.
So the question is, do I want to follow up? Ideally, I don't want to, because I've got a lovely combat here into the centre. If I can hold. My discipline's 7, so I'm going to try and stand. And I've rolled 8, so I'm going to continue to stand. The advantage with that now is because we've got a gap between us, it allows me to bring forward my skirmishers now into this area here. And there's one last thing you've got to do, Richard, and hopefully you're not going to be quite as unlucky as last time, and that's you've got to roll for Calvinus. And a snake eyes on 2 dice. No, you're 9. Fine. Calvinus is absolutely fine. So the attack has bounced there, and it's a reversal of fortune.
That's bad news.
Oh, it's not bad news for me.
No.
That could not have gone any better apart from you actually holding the discipline check, really. And now we've got 2 wonderful fights here. Over here I've got a combat with 3 strength, 4, 5 and 6 plays 3. So I've got a 3 dice fight there, and I've got a 3 dice fight over here. Just got to take advantage to begin with then with a light horse, I think. So I'm going to roll my 3 dice then against the light horse over here. That's been a real disaster for your plan, so let's see what we get. I've rolled 2 1s and a 4. Thank goodness I've got 3 dice, so I'll take the 4.
No, I failed to. For all my defence dice, I rolled a 3, which isn't good enough.
Roll, see how far you push backwards now.
I do 1, so they don't
move backwards. You pick up yet another setback card.
I do take a setback, yeah.
But no discipline check required, because it was just a pushback. Now over here I've got to take advantage of this wonderful set of odds on you at the moment here. And I've got a 3 dice fight here. So I'm going to go for the 3 dice fight.
Tell me how. You've got combat value of 3.
3 here.
You've got skirmishers, that puts you to 4. And you've got 2 lots of support, here. So 6. And I've got a combat value of 3.
So I double you.
You double it.
So 3 dice. And I've rolled a 6 at last.
Right.
So that's a crunching attack there. So you can imagine my wedges going into you.
6, 2 and 3. So
I take the 6. 6 and 2.
I'm going to try and bounce that. No, I fail.
So you need to now get pushed backwards here.
3.
1 square. Well, at least you form the line.
At least I form a line, yeah.
And it's another setback card for you there.
It is indeed. Things are really mounting up.
Worse though is the discipline check. You've got 7 discipline these guys.
Let's see. 3. Atrocious.
3 is going to be a failure. Now you've got 1 defence point left over there.
I'm going to have to use it. I'll burn that and re-roll it.
Got to do it, haven't you? Yeah.
8, just scraped it.
So you scraped it. Now, do my infantry want to follow up? Well, I enjoyed bouncing you that turn there. I think you're in a strong place. So I'm going to try and do a discipline check now to see if we follow up or not. We're going to try and stand. And I've rolled 10, so I'm okay there. Yeah. Okay. I need to check for my skirmishers. 5 or 6, they stand. They stand. So in fact, actually, probably our skirmishers saw you off there and shot you away. So you picked up then 4 setbacks, Richard. And I'm still in my position with skirmishers out in front. I'm doing all right here, aren't I? The next thing then, I've still my turn. I've still got the phase. My skirmishers over here. It's tempting now to bring them out and start to flank you. I'm slightly worried about these imitation legionaries here. So we're going to attack over here now. It's going to be a 1 dice fight now.
So this is our cavalry.
Yeah, cavalry over here. So we're going to do a combat activation. Pharnaces is leading it again. Let's see if we get a bit more luck in it this time. You've got 4 combat. I've got 4 combat. Ferocious charge doesn't count anymore. It's a 1 dice fight. And I've rolled a 3, so we're standing again. So obviously we're not keen on fighting over there for some reason.
But that's the perfect result for me. That's what I want them to be doing.
Well, the question is, should I use my generalship point? Should I commit that now? I think I've spent too many points of late, and I'm a little bit concerned that we're going to do something stupid in a minute. So I'm going to not spend that yet. I'm going to leave that for the moment, and we'll accept that we might get bullied around in your turn.
Okay, so the place shifts to me.
Yeah, it's now over to your turn.
Okay,
5,
well,
Richard.
I've got to try and do exactly the same thing again. I'm going to advance with those guys. They roll a 2, which is enough. They're not going into combat, they're just advancing to block you. And I'm charging here. 6.
You're in again.
In they go. Now, let's see if we can do it better than last time.
It's still a 1 dice fight, I'm afraid.
It is still a 1 dice fight. I've rolled a 1.
Not again.
Yeah,
surely
play the attack dice. I'm changing dice. I've rolled that and the total. I've rolled a 2. Which,
a 2's not quite so bad. A 2's a grind. Now, you've got battle training, which normally would work if I was attacking you, and that would give you an advantage there, but unfortunately it means both of us now are going to be pushed back unless I can stop it with my defence dice over here. And I've rolled a 3, so I haven't stopped it. So I'm going to be pushed backwards now, and you're going to be pushed backwards now, Richard. I'm going to push backwards 1 square.
I'm going to go back 4, which is 2 squares.
No, it's just 1 square.
Is it just 1?
Just
Sorry,
1 square.
Right. Okay. Oh, not good. What happens to your skirmishers?
Well, we both pick up setback cards.
Yeah, we do. I know that.
So they're piling up on your side there.
They really
my skirmishers.
Yeah.
They go. So that's good. You have weakened me now. Okay. And more importantly, now I've got to take a discipline check as well. And my discipline is only 7.
Right.
So will I stand over here? And I've rolled 7, so I just about managed to hold it in together there. You've got to take a discipline check too, though.
Let's roll those.
You've got 5.
Yeah, I've rolled 8, so I'm laughing.
And the general, is he injured?
No,
1
and 2. Close, but no cigar.
You can imagine his Batman there getting a slingshot to the groin or something as he stands in the way. But they haven't quite punched in the same way I thought they might. But over here now, first of all, I'm unsupported by the other line, which should mean I'm now vulnerable.
Yeah.
And secondly, I don't have the skirmishers anymore, so my troops have been expended, really holding them up.
Yeah.
From repeated charges, you can imagine the first line of cohorts have gone in.
Yeah.
They've been pushed away. The second line have gone in, and now we're probably on to your third line of your triple aces. And hopefully next turn for you can punch your way through. Well, you can do this legion over here, and this combat, and this one over here. Now, of course, you could try and swing them around to face me front on. That would help you.
I'm going to move here first of all.
Over here, okay. 1 square.
1 square. Right, that's good
I
for
think
that.
you need to bring them in, don't you?
Yeah, I need to get them out of the way, if nothing else. Right. Okay. Now, I'm not...
It's a 1 dice fight, though.
Yeah, I'm not bothered about that.
Well, I think it'd be worth doing.
Why?
Because on a 1 dice fight, you've got 50-50 chance of pushing you back.
4.
It's good enough, that, isn't it, to push me back? So
unless you bounce it.
Well, yeah, it's all right. It's all useful.
But you see, I was quite happy with them there.
Do you not? I think you do. I think you do. It's another setback card for me. That's got to be good. So 5 is 3 squares. 1, 2, 3. Over there.
Do I follow up? 4.
4. So you go forward 2 squares.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Actually, what I was concerned about was leaving these guys refusing to follow up. And leaving you on their flank.
The only slight problem with that now is it allows me to ferocious charge, particularly next turn.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Back, so it does give me a slight advantage. But you cause a setback, and I think at the moment, in a game which break points for each of our armies is quite low, any setback is a good setback. So it's all going to help.
Well, I'm going to try here. I'm going to try and get them to turn. Now,
so
this is going to involve...
charge or
no, just
a turn.
This is going to involve me rolling at least a 4, 5 or 6, yeah. So I have got enough movement. The question is, do I manoeuvre
Yeah.
4, 5 or 6 to turn it, and I've done it.
Oh, you lucky things.
Blimey.
You turn around and then you're going to be slightly out on a limb like that against me
that's
there. Ah, so that has actually slowed down that gradual grind they had on you.
Well, do you know what?
You don't fight, but that's pretty good actually.
I didn't expect them to do that, but I'm pleased with that. Right.
That's been a good turn for you.
That's been a good turn.
Good phase. Yeah, a good phase.
You'll go, mate. You've still got a lot of punch power in the middle.
I've got a lot of punch power inside the middle there, absolutely. And in fact, even on this flank over here, it's not so bad. And I've got a decent charge over here too. So the first thing I'm going to try and do then is I'm going to try and advance forward my Imitation Legions to keep up that nice strong support for the centre unit here. So I'm going to advance with them. I'm going to move them back into line again. That's good news, because that now gives me another 3 dice fight here in the combat against this Pontic Legion. And so far, skirmishers are holding it very nicely. So let's see how we get on there. I've rolled a 4, 2 and 2. So we'll take the 4, please, Richard. It's another pushback. Not great dice, but it's at least a positive one. That's the advantage of the 3 dice fight.
See what I rolled.
You don't cancel it.
Failed it.
So how far you push backwards?
Let's see that. 4, so 1 square. Which I don't mind 1 square.
Right. Okay.
However, I take a setback.
You do?
And a discipline test?
No discipline test, it's only a pushback. I really need on these 3 dice fights to get a few of these discipline checks on you, but nothing's been taken so far.
No.
Haven't been that good with it. So over here then, my question is, do I follow up? And I'm going to try and hold the line. Another discipline check over here. I've rolled a 6, so I've failed it. That means I've got to follow up, which isn't really what I want.
No.
I've just rolled a 1 though. So actually, we wanted to follow up. We enthusiastically went forward, but you can imagine they probably got forward 20 paces and I went, nah, maybe not. The skirmishers are going to go. So the front line of skirmishers has disappeared, and then we're going to replace them then with the line of skirmishers back, because there's a gap. But my skirmishers are running out now, so this sort of road bumps that I've put in the way here, slowly disappearing. That centre's getting weaker, so it's been ground down. And I'm a bit worried about what's going to happen next turn, because I think over here now you're going to have quite an advantage. So it's still my turn. I'm going to charge over here again. The cavalry into combat. I've rolled a 2, it's enough. Pharnaces leading the way. Now this one here is going to be a 2 dice fight, because I've got 4 combat. And 1 for ferocious charge. You've got 4 combat, so it gives me an advantage this turn. I've rolled a 5 and 1. I'll take the 5, please.
And I'll see if I can back that away. I fail.
This is what we needed.
Yeah, this is what you need, isn't it?
Right.
So let's see how far I go back.
You go backwards. That's 1 square with cavalry.
There we go.
Okay, that's good news. And you pick up a setback card.
I do. Another one. That's 7 so far.
That's looking promising. And you also need to take a discipline check. Now your discipline's 7.
And I failed on a 6.
Oh yeah. So
and I don't have anything left I can use. On my command board, I've literally got nothing.
You've spent it all then, haven't you?
All the money.
Let's see then what happens to those cavalry there then. So you need to roll 2 dice 6. You want to roll as high as possible.
5.
5. A 5 is a retreat. So on the retreat then you're going to be turned around like so. That is not good news for you in the pushbacks. And you are also disordered. So along with your setback being pushed back, you're going to pick up 2 additional setbacks. 1 for being in retreat and 1 then for your disorder mark. How many is that now, Richard?
Must be about 9. Yeah, 9. So, I'm
going to follow up then. We'll follow up over there.
It's not good.
3, that's enough to go 2 squares with a cavalry.
So you're
into your
chasing me off the table.
That's going to be pretty bad news. You've got to start winning it here now in the centre now, isn't it? Absolutely down to this final.
Are you going to do anything with your skirmishers?
No, because if I keep them here, it's going to allow me then to support this unit over here, isn't it?
I was just merely hoping to entice you into doing something stupid.
I really want to avoid this unit of Imitation Legionaries, really, because you're superior troops, and in the open, I'm pretty vulnerable here. So I'm a bit worried at fighting you head on. The longer I can pan that out, the better, really. So really, that's one combat you might want to take advantage of. Over here, then, I don't really want to be fighting these now head on, because you've got 3 combat versus my 2 combat strength. So I'm just going to very simply, I'm going to fire some missiles at you this turn. So we're going to carry some missile combat. Now you've got a combat strength of 3. My missile combat strength is just 2. So that means I roll 1 dice and I take 1 off it. rolled a 3, it goes down to 2, it's a nothing. There's
Nothing.
no effect there. So no impact there. You can imagine one or two legionaries fall to the floor with a javelin in them, but the formation of 4,000 or 5,000 men there isn't going to be worried at all by that gentle harassment of cavalry.
Okay, right, let's carry on. My turn.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'm going to, a tried and tested formula, advance, shoot.
Well, it's only in advance, so there's not a turn and
No,
a reverse of fortune,
I know.
it's not a charge.
But I really needed them to go in.
Now, if you go in over here, it's still a 1 dice fight.
Yeah.
But the question is it worth trying to
That's
bring
where I'm
these in
going to
there?
go there. I'm going to go there. So
Advancing there?
I'm going to... No, there's no point in advance. I'm going to advance. Yeah, I'm going to advance. But I could go into contact, but there's no point. So I'm just going to there.
Okay.
I'm just lining up, teeing myself off for
Are you going to
next
charge
time.
over here?
I've got to, mate. I don't have any options. But they rolled a 1. It's a reversal of fortunes.
How many ones do they have?
Well, they're obviously redressing their ranks, but yeah, they.
Well, you know what it was? It was the garlands falling off the standards earlier on, wasn't it? It really was.
It was.
It really was. The gods really didn't favour you today.
No,
Oh my gosh.
bastards.
So, yeah. Well, don't say that in front of Mars. They'll have you for that one.
Right.
Oh gosh. So the situation, it was looking good for you last turn, but now it's starting to get to a nasty point for you. Those setback cards are piling up.
Yeah.
9 is it for you?
9
3 for me.
Do you know what? One disaster, and you've got to be calling it, haven't you? It wouldn't take much, and with that cavalry being pursued, a good round of combat for you there could well make that happen. I need, in the next phase of play, to do something really powerful in the middle.
You've got to get the charges in there.
Yeah.
And also you've got to try and rally these troops here, because if they get disordered again, they will be routing.
I'm thinking
So
about just riding them off.
You can't ride them off there, they're disordered at the moment.
right.
Yeah, so they're a complete mess of people being chased down. So you've got to try
No,
and
but
walk
I mean
them stuff
rallying them and just getting the hell out of
Well,
it.
just being rallied over there would really hold it for the
Yeah.
moment. But over here, you've got a good fight over here. That's a 2 dice fight there. You
Yeah.
can see off my light horse, so maybe that flanking attempt there might that might be a saving grace for you. I'd encourage you maybe to do that early on.
Yeah.
But over here, you've got the potential for some nice charges in, haven't you?
Yeah, let's see how it runs. Right, well I've got a number of pressing concerns here. These are disordered. That could potentially gift you the disaster card that I think could win you the game. So that's got to be really important. But the problem is, if I do that first, that will give you a reversal of fortunes if it goes wrong.
It will.
So I don't want to do that first. This is a bit of a gift. You know, I'll get a 2 dice fight there, so that's quite attractive. It's unlikely to lead to any problems just running a fight there. These guys, I need to charge these in. I'm at the point where I really need to charge everybody in here.
Yeah.
To try and get some kind of victory. So what I'm going to do, but again that could cause a reversal of fortune anywhere, but it's almost at the point where I've got to make it happen. So I'm going to start here. 2 dice fight. I'm going to roll my 2 dice. 6 and a 3. I'll take the 6.
Take the 6.
Can you bat that away? You have. You rolled a 6, batted that away,
Oh,
so
dear.
no effect there.
Oh,
Okay, never mind, not worried. Charge. 3.
Okay. So
In they go.
in you go. But at this point here in time, I need to reveal something, Bishop.
Oh God, not again, not on film.
Because unfortunately between us here,
Yeah.
we've actually got some hidden prepared ditches
Oh,
at this point here in time. Which now means you need to roll to see if your unit is disordered. On a roll of 4, 5 or 6, the unit is disordered. They're not disordered, so you go on in there and that's okay. So it's not broken up your formation enough to worry you, but I get a +1 defensive bonus for being behind a defensive obstacle like that.
Right.
So that takes me from 2
yeah,
up to 3.
yeah. And I'm on 3,
But I'm
you get
supported.
support.
So actually that's a 4 versus 3 fight here. So it's
So
2 dice,
and you
but I
choose
choose
the
the
one.
dice.
Well, it's too late for me to change my mind, isn't it?
You're in.
4 or 4. Well, which one would you like, Nate? A 4 or 4?
I'll have the 4. Can I stop it?
Yeah.
I failed to stop it there, so I'm going to be pushed backwards now. Oh, well, I was hoping to disorder you, but I've gone backwards then with the skirmishers then. 3, that's 2 squares.
Phew.
So we're right the way back, so we've fallen back from beyond there. We don't pick up a setback for the skirmishers, so that's good news. But you can follow up, which I presume you want to do now, over there, over the obstacle.
Well,
you don't want to be,
no.
you don't want to be fighting back.
But on the other hand, if I stay where I am, I'll add support to the next fight.
Well, that's a good point as well. That would actually even it out there as well.
Yeah.
So that's the question. Do you want to stick? The problem is I'll
roll the dice and the dice will decide. 8.
What does that mean?
That's their discipline,
Oh, right.
meaning that I'm going to stand.
You're going to stand? Okay.
If they failed their discipline, they were going to go anyway.
Okay, that makes some sense.
Yeah.
So that's going to really reinforce this fight here now.
Right, so that's where I want to go in next. Don't roll a 1,
They're
and in they go.
In go the Pontic Legions. So you've got 3 combat. You're supported 4.
Yeah.
I've got 3 combat.
You've got
I'm supported here.
4 and skirmishers. So it's a 2 dice fight again.
Yeah,
got to make it
I'm
happen.
enjoying these.
5 and 5. Which one do you want?
I thought Mars wasn't on your side today. Right, can I stop that there? I've got a 6, but a 6 isn't enough to do that there.
Right.
So I'm pushed backwards here again. I've got a 1, so I'm not dropping back. But I pick up a setback card.
And what happens to your skirmishers?
Well, my skirmishers. Well, let's do the discipline. No, let's do the skirmishers first of all. The skirmishers. The skirmishers stand.
They stand.
But the discipline check's the important one. 7 discipline. And I've rolled 11.
Right.
We are loving it. So
now,
we're holding it in place, but we've picked up another setback there.
That's teed me up perfectly.
It has now.
For my elite legion to go in.
2 up. 2 up on
you
one
know
dice.
what I'm going to roll.
Yeah, you're going to roll the 1 now. It's going to be the curse of the game. No!
Yes! In they go.
Oh, no.
Right.
In come the 3rd line of cohorts. I'm in trouble now. So you've now got a 2 dice fight now.
My general here is trying on some purple clothing.
Is he? Oh. Visions of grandeur.
Here we go. 5 or a 1. I'll take the 5.
I'll try and stop the 5 then with a defence. I've rolled a 5, believe it or not. Jammy that we are.
Right.
How do we manage that? So we've managed to hold it.
Right.
Oh gosh. Right then. Well, that was that.
Okay.
I have to say a bit unfortunate over here, but on that side I couldn't have expected any better really. So
right.
That's all right. So we're all actually on this roughly the same set of squares over here, aren't we? Sorry,
yeah.
So we're all actually supporting each other here in a line. Okay. Over there then.
It's gotta be, isn't it?
7 discipline, but you're in my zone of control. That means you've got 8 or better on 2 dice over there.
Yes.
11. Look at that. So they reorder themselves over here. You're still facing the wrong way, but you're reordered. So you can start clearing off next turn, but you're going to take another turn probably being beaten up a bit there, but probably not routing. And that's the key thing. It won't be that disaster card. Well,
you're going.
Not bad. Not bad. I've got a few obvious ones I need to do. And the obvious one over there then is to keep hammering up that cavalry. If we can keep causing setbacks in you, that's exactly what I need to do. So we've got 4 combat, you've only got 2 combats. Now I have 3 dice to fight over there. A 5 is my best one. So would you like to try and defend a 5?
No.
Failed it. So how far backwards do you go? That's 3 squares. Okay, and you pick up a setback card. But the next bit is more important. The discipline check. 7 discipline.
9.
Done it. 9. Now the question is, do I want to follow up at this point in time? Very tempting with backs to me like that, isn't it? But these infantry over here are a lovely target too. Well, it would be far too unglorious to not chase after the cavalry running away. I'm going to chase the cavalry and roll 4, so there's 2 squares over here. Okay. It's your chance maybe next turn to turn around and face me again.
Yeah.
So it's taking the pressure off a little bit there. Now over here it's not such a good situation.
No.
I'm going to try and then advance up then the skirmishers, because if I can keep holding on to this line here by the ditches, maybe we can reman them quickly enough before you get over them. And I've rolled a 1 on movement. That's exactly what I didn't want. I can't do much about that. I can't re-roll it. My general's too far away, charging after the cavalry. That now means that this fight here in the centre now is a 1 dice fight. Do I risk that 1 dice fight? And risk losing my skirmishers. I'm going to choose basically just to hold back there and not fight at the moment. I'm judging the idea that at some point I'm likely to get another setback somewhere.
I've got 10 setback cards at the moment.
I'm going to shoot over here now with my archers and my javelin and the cavalry. 1 dice -1. That's a nothing there. Yeah, well, it's a 2. Take away 1.
Yeah.
So I'm not out of missiles. It's not a reversal of fortune.
Right.
And I think I am going to just try and hold it here.
Right.
Or do I fight? No, I'm going to hold it and I'm going to just be brave. Be brave. Right, it's over to you then.
Starting here.
You sure you don't want to start over here with your 2 dice fight?
Yeah, okay, I'll start with the 2 dice fight. Yeah, probably right. I was thinking about the overlap, but you've still got skirmishes, which I need to
You don't want to try and rally them first?
No, I want to fight.
2 dice fight over here?
No, I want to fight here. 2 dice fight. 5 and 1, I'll take the 5.
Okay.
Let's see you back that off
3.
again.
No. Right, I'm dropping back. I'm not going anywhere. I'm on a 1 there, but it's a discipline check.
Yeah.
6, I failed it. Luckily, I've got 1, 2 defence points left. So I'm going to spend 1 of those now. And I'm going to re-roll it. I need 7 or better here. I really need to get this one here.
No, 3.
Oh dear. That's not good. Right, and so I get pushed backwards. I've rolled 1, haven't I, ready for that?
Yeah.
So I need to roll 2 dice then, see what happens to me. And 5. 5 is a retreat. So I'm retreating with my back to you over there. So that means I get 1 for being pushed back,
You do.
1 for retreating, and 1 for being disordered. So 3 setbacks.
So you're up to
over
7.
Here. That's not so good.
Right.
And I need to put down a disordered marker over here on them. And we've got some disordered markers here.
Very pretty.
Very pretty. They almost could be yours actually. They look pretty similar to
me. What I'll do is I'll take a 2 dice fight here next.
Yes.
6 and a 2, I'll take the 6.
Okay then. 6 and a 2. Right then, can I defend against a 6? No, I can't. So I'm going to be pushed backwards over here. And I'm going to go backwards 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well out of the picture now, aren't we? Over here, like cavalry. But more importantly, we've got to take a discipline check. And the discipline with these guys is 8 or better, I think. And I've failed it as well over here. And let's see where they're going to go to. 7, but I take off 2 off that because we're skirmishers. So we're also over here going to be disordered over here, and we're going to be also retreating. So there's 2 setback cards. Those ones there, and I'll put down some cavalry disordered marker over here. So that's not looking good at all. 2 disordered units.
Right, so I've got some choices here. This is an even 1 dice fight.
Well, it's better than that now because you've got the support on this flank, and these don't count as support. So in fact, you've got 3, 4, 5. Plays 4.
So 2 dice fight. I'll take that 2. Not
2 is a grind.
But
you can't re-roll it.
No.
So let's see if I defend against it. I don't do that. So we're both going to fall backwards here. Let's see how far backwards we go.
5.
That's 2 squares for me.
That's 2 for me, I think. On a 5.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Absolutely. But we both pick up setback cards.
Yeah.
Which at the moment I'm enjoying picking up.
Yeah.
But you're picking them up at least.
Any discipline tests here?
Yeah, we've both got to take discipline tests, and again, these are important.
6, I failed.
You failed it, and me? 9, I've stood. So you've got to see what happens to over there. This could be the critical moment.
12.
12?
Oh, yes! Get rid of a setback card, I think, mate.
No, not if you failed the discipline test.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry. I thought this was the moment where we rallied round our standards.
Well, you'd like to, mate. But no, you're disordered over here, I'm afraid. So just disordered. That's not so bad.
No, could be worse.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Here,
not so bad.
I want to turn around.
Right then, yeah, you do. So a manoeuvre. So you've got the movement points to do it. It's now 2 up to turn around. Yeah.
That bounced off of 1. But
now you've actually got enough points, which is actually something you might want to do here.
To charge back in.
Well, you can't charge because you didn't declare a charge, but you can move into combat. The advantage with
and that stops you charging.
Well, it stops me from doing a ferocious charge.
Ferocious charge, yeah.
So it would mean I fight automatically in my turn. I wouldn't need to roll a 2 up to get the charge in.
But that's fine.
But it means it's a 1 dice fight rather than a 2 dice fight. So
I'm happy to take
very much to your advantage there.
Okay. Well, that didn't go precisely to plan, but because that setback card hurt, but it could have been worse. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So you're on 10.
But there's only one problem, is that you've got a slightly higher army break point than I've
Yeah,
got.
that's right. So it's all to play for.
Oh my gosh.
Now, how are you going to turn this round? Because you've only got one real good point, and that's here.
That's not a bad point there. That's not a bad point. The other half decent one is actually, bizarrely, over here.
Yeah.
But I think the ditch is going to work both ways, isn't it? I think you're going to be able to defend from behind that. So, what are we going to do? But over here you've got the disorder. I can't take advantage of
No, you can't.
That's the problem.
You literally can't.
So the question is, what do I do? Right, well first of all I'm going to try and move back up the light infantry here, because this is just a movement, a very little low risk move, and it's a sensible one because it keeps the position. So they're going to move up to there. At some point I'm going to have to try to rally these, which is something I really don't want to do. Well, I don't want to take that risk. I do want to rally though. I don't want to take the risk.
No, I know what you're saying.
Right then, over here then. What can I do here? I've got to press forward these. They're going to move forward here. Two squares, so we're going to bring them back up over here. We'll do the one dice combat over there, and I'm going to assume that because I've got my generalship point,
you can re-roll it.
I can re-roll it. So let's go with that. 2's a grind.
I'll try and bounce it anyway. No, so we grind away.
We both fall back then.
Yeah.
I go backwards a square.
And I go back 3, which is 2 squares.
Yeah. Right then, and I need to roll a risk for my general.
Do we take a setback
We
for
both
that?
pick up setback cards, yeah.
Okay, so put
And
some
I also
around
need to take
dozen.
a discipline check as well.
Okay,
So let's do the discipline check. You
7.
Passed it. Passed
9.
it. Risk the general.
Oh, gosh.
His horse has been killed, but luckily
Yeah.
he's picked up by another fine
Golf
rider.
buggy. Right.
Another golf buggy over there.
Yeah.
Right, so we're both okay over there.
Right.
But it's another card for you. Right then, I've got 2 sets then of rally rolls to make. This one's more critical, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
What now is my discipline on those light cavalry? I think it's 8. So I could do a straight check over there with light cavalry. I'd need 8 or better. This one over here would also be 7 normally, but 8 because I'm in the zone of control of you. And that's pretty critical, because if I get pushed back again and lose my found my discipline check, we're going to break there. The other option is I call homunculus est on you, which is a bit early.
It is a bit early. You might exhaust me, but...
Well, it might break you.
No, it won't break me.
The question is, would you take it? Right then, I'm going to try then to rally these boys over here, 8 or more. I've rolled a 7, so I failed. Let's see what happens to them over here. It could be pretty bad. I've rolled a 3, which means they round.
That's atrocious. Well, for you, mate.
Yeah, right, let's see how far backwards they go. 3. I could have re-rolled that early on, but I forgot to. That's stupid.
Well, that's the gods, mate.
So we're going to move there.
It's you slagging the gods off earlier.
It's going to move there, leaving by a big pile of dead. And we're going to rout off the table, which gives us a disaster card.
That's disastrous, mate.
Yeah,
Actually, that isn't that remarkable?
Yeah.
It's totally the right name. Right.
It's now a reversal of fortune, which unfortunately means
Yeah.
you're going to be able to call homunculus est on me very quickly.
It is.
Because I think I'm close to breaking.
I think you are. However, I'm not in a rush to call it.
No,
I need to do something else first.
I don't think you do.
Okay, I'll take your advice. Homunculus est.
Now the question here is, do I risk it? Or do I take it? I've got, what, 10, 11 cards and a disaster card. My gosh. I'm pretty likely to break at this point in time.
You've got to bat it off, haven't you?
I've got to just try and do 2 things here. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to spend a strategy point
Yeah.
to get rid of a setback card.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've got rid of something good there.
Good.
And I'm then going to take the call.
Okay. Right. Away you go, mate. Let's see it.
Okay, let's see what we've got then.
Let's have a look at the little ones
0.
first. Nothing. Right. I'll keep a running total.
1.
1, 2, 4. Oh, I like that. 4, 5, 6.
Need more zeros.
You do.
Oh, sugar. Sugar.
9.
Sugar.
I'm feeling confident at this point. 9.
Zeros. Zeros.
11.
Zeros.
Ooh,
I think I'm
you ain't
done.
going to get
I'm
away
done.
with this.
I'm done.
12. 12 still. What's the disaster, mate?
Two.
Oh, no!
Oh, my break is 14.
And we
So-
made it.
So you just broke me. Just about broke me.
Let's see what I had, mate. Not just about, mate. I did.
Yeah. Oh.
Bloody hell. Right. 1. 4. 5. Still 5. 6. 7. 10.
I think you might go as well.
11. 12.
Oh, no.
15.
Oh, no.
17. 17.
Oh,
Had
what?
you called homunculus est, I would have gone. But as it was,
Looking smug again, Richard.
Yeah, yeah.
Looking smug again.
if I had sleeves, mate, I'd be laughing up them.
You would be. Yeah.
I got out of jail on that one, didn't I?
You just about managed to do it, didn't you?
I didn't think I was going to get you, and by goodness me, I nearly didn't. I mean, it was. Even Fred's come in, he's so amazed.
Excited.
Yeah, Fred's excited.
To revel in the glory.
Yeah, that's right. Basking in the reflected glory. I didn't think I was. I don't think I was going to do it, and I was nearly right.
Yeah.
But I did think. Well, what were my alternatives? They'd gone. I did think actually trying other things, turning people round, hitting people in flanks would have been really good, but it could have gone wrong. And then I thought, actually, I'm not under a lot of pressure, so if I call it now, I'm going to exhaust you, which will make your reversal of fortunes more likely, because I thought it would take you next turn really to get yourself reorganised and get to the point before you could get another card and therefore get a disaster.
But it's funny though, isn't it? Because if I'd have called it, instead of trying to rally these troops here, would you have taken the call or would you have cancelled it?
I'd have cancelled it.
Because if you'd have cancelled it, see, I would have then cancelled it with my generalship card the next turn, with my generalship, and then I would have still been able to call it.
Do you know what?
You.
I don't think I would have, because I didn't have a disaster card, and I think I'd have taken it. I think I'd have accepted it.
Yeah.
Because I've only got a generalship left. I mean, the general's done it. I don't know.
But this is the fine margins which that one came down to.
I didn't.
That really was down to a sort of a.
I didn't think I was at break point, but I was. Well, what an exciting game! And of course, the best bit is I won
Again. Next time, Clarky. Next time.
That was really tight, and obviously my general just had enough charisma to convince his men that they were still fighting.
I think my general probably still thought he'd won the battle on that flank over there, from ignoring what was going on the rest of the battlefield, unfortunately.
Well, there we go. Well, we hope you enjoyed that. I mean, I certainly did. I mean, that was a fabulous game to play, and it went so wrong for the first half. I was just lucky with those 2 doubles going over the ditch and taking on that 2 dice against me fight.
Yeah.
I was just able to roll 2 doubles. You couldn't bat them away.
Yeah.
The gods, don't you worry about things falling off sticks and ribbons blowing about. When the moment came, the gods were with my guys there in the front line, or something along those lines. Certainly the dice were good.
Yeah. Well, over here I thought the imitation legionaries actually held their own pretty well, really. My plan almost came off there.
Yeah.
The problem was in this flank over here, the poor scythe chariots really were a damp squib, weren't they, over there? And the light horse, actually, who should have been grinding you down each turn, were unable to take advantage there. Only caused a few setback cards, and in the end, probably you caused as many setback cards on that flank with that imitation legion as probably I inflicted on you.
Yeah, so, I was very lucky that the 2 rolls of 4 up in succession that I was able to get them under control and turn them round, because had you been pushing that pressure on turn after turn after turn, pushing them back, that could really have tipped me over the point, and you would have called him Uncle SS.
And equally, the cavalry over here just being able to fall back and reorder themselves as well were fortunate as well, weren't they? So I think despite your poor luck with the 36th, actually they ended up being the battle winners. You predicted that. Yeah. And in fact your plan did come off with it in the end, didn't it? Well,
I think that's the thing. It's an interesting point about any game which uses dice to generate certain outcomes in terms of command, and you hear it with chain of command where people say the dice determine your plans. That you can't do. You can't allow the dice to determine your plans. You have to have a plan. The question often is how can you manage things and stick to that plan? And often there are things that are attractive that you think that wasn't in my plan, but I'll go and do that because I can. But really, your best bet is to stick to the plan. And like I could have charged with my cavalry earlier on in the game. I could have brought up my infantry and charged here, and I was glad I didn't.
And I forgot to re-roll my my dice over here, didn't I?
Well, I think
which again could have been critical there, couldn't it?
I think the gods cast a mist over your command board.
Easily done. Easily focused on the points in the game. Yeah. Oh dear.
There we go. Well, we hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did, and I know Mark is going to enjoy the big box of Kleenex tissues that I have for him to be wiping away those tears.
I wonder what you're going to say.
And I might be using it later as well when I rerun the video. But right, okay, great. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We hope to have more Strength and Honour for you very soon. If you like what you see, don't forget to tick things or do whatever, put your thumbs up, and of course if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments below, and then we can get back to you with any queries you've got. Of course, time to remind you that you can buy Strength and Honour from the Two Fat Lardies and Rise to Express website. And the other thing is we've got a very active Facebook group which is out there, and we hope to have some new Strength and Honour products for you coming up before too long, so keep your eyes out for those.
And of course, if you're inside Europe and you want to pick up Strength and Honour, you can pick them up from Caravanserai. So
in the Netherlands, look out for their website there, and they can certainly assist you and get the rules to you either in hard copy or PDF format. Right, well thanks for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon on Lard TV.
Take care now, bye bye.